Two. Hey, welcome everybody to Business Opportunity Live. I am Jeff Cohen, and it is Friday. Yay, Friday. And I'm going to be enjoying my weekend right here on my deck. As you guys can see, it's a pretty fun deck, right? So I hope everyone's been having a really safe and productive time, and that everyone is looking for and finding new business opportunities, identifying ways to make a difference, not just in their business, but also for those that they service. And I just want to let you know, I've had the experience in the last few weeks where I'm talking to more and more people that are starting new businesses. I think I shared a couple weeks ago, I've started 4 companies in my life, and in the last 3 months, I've been involved in starting 3 new ones. And it's just amazing to me to see the momentum and the shift in the market. There's this pivot that you wind up taking, and that exists. And when you take a pivot in your business, new opportunities you had no idea would show up, start showing up. And I really invite you to be looking at in your business, are you doing things the same way, expecting different results? Or is your business doing great, and that's why you are, right? But if you've got a gap, if there's something that's not working, like, is there some way you can pivot your business and shift it? I've made a major shift in mine, and I'll tell you, I think there are big payoffs. I really look forward to hearing from you guys. In fact, while you're watching today, please share with us a little bit about, what you're experiencing during this COVID-19 emergency that we have. I mean, it is lasting and it is not slowing down. We're going to be in quarantine for quite some time, it looks like. So in any case, I'm glad to have my 2 favorite guys with me this week. We have Todd Gurvis and Gene Cohen. I'm going to start with Todd this week. Todd, what the heck is happening with the market?
What's happening in the market? More of the same, piled higher and deeper. Isn't that what we call an MS and a PhD? What's happening is that the market is showing some of the reactions that we would expect with a couple of things that are happening out there. Number one, we would like to see it. The numbers are not getting better on coronavirus. In fact, there's an upswing back up in several states. That limits the ability to open up, and in some cases, states are actually slowing down or tightening back up. So markets are reacting to that. There has been some news in terms of the Fed, in terms of their reaction to the economy and the tightening of the money supply, which has affected major investment houses like Goldman and JP Morgan, and whither their stocks go, so do other financials, several large regional banks. At the same time, we're seeing a huge climb on some of the large growth stocks, especially Amazon. Amazon just closed the deal to buy Zoox, which is aiming to be the major competitor to Tesla and Google for self-autonomous driving cars. And Amazon is looking to invest in that and own that as for them to be able to deliver more quickly and control more of their fleet without having to have people in the cars that slow things down. So the market's showing some volatility. What does this mean? That means that for the week and the day, the Dow and the S&P are down, particularly today. And the NASDAQ continues to shrug everything off. Your small and mid-sized companies are continuing to grow. The NASDAQ is actually continuing to be up, not only for the months, but for the year in positive territory. And although it's been a choppy week to 10 days for the larger caps, the reality is overall, most of the recovery is still locked in. So I'm going to say the same thing I say to you every week, Jeff. Just keep in mind that your investing is your long-term savings. Don't overreact. Don't go to the knee-jerk reaction of, oh my gosh, and follow the crowd. Stay with your strategies. Talk to your trusted advisors, your investment advisor, your financial planner, your accountant, and just stay on track to your long-term goals. Keep your reserves adequate, and just keep enjoying the ride.
Thanks, Todd. And you said something that really kind of triggered me a little bit early on when you were talking about Amazon and the autonomous vehicles. Listen, they're not going to be able to get away from people. The cars can drive. Someone's got to load and unload the cars.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to do with that? I'm sure they're trying to figure that one out. But seriously.
The honest answer is, even if you ask them, even if you ask Zoox and some of these other companies, they'll tell you, we don't care what Tesla's saying, this is not coming out in the next 6 months to a year. They're also talking about vehicles that move at about 20 miles an hour. They are not going to be tearing down the freeways. These are stop and start vehicles, but the technology is something they're working on. It's not there yet.
So what you're saying is that we're going to have to run up to the car at 20 miles an hour to get our package?
No, it means that that's as fast as that vehicle is going to go. Although I'll be perfectly content to take your package and drive down the street and let you chase me if you want.
That's great. I love it.
I do have one question.
Sure.
Where the market is now an opportunity to go look for bargains?
I think there are some bargains out there. I'm not going to name names, Gene. You know me too well. It's dependent on an individual's situation. What I would say is, if you have money that you can commit, and both gentlemen have heard me say in the past, when somebody asks me, you've seen me do it to someone, hey, I want to put some money in a stock. Can you recommend a stock to me? And I'll always stop and say, are you ready to lose $10,000 today? Because the reality is when you are investing in a single entity, a single stock, a single holding, you're piling all the risk in one place. So what you want to do is sit with your advisor, talk about what's appropriate to your situation. Does a single holding investment fit in your plan? And if so, they will individually, knowing your situation, recommend what's an appropriate risk for you.
Great. Hey.
Awesome. Always good advice. Thank you, Todd. Hey, Gene. So I know you planned for some stuff today to talk about finances, and it sounded like you were taking a little bit of a detour this week. What are the topics you want to talk about?
Well, I actually have two topics for this week: unemployment and for businesses to donate their inventory to charity. So I'd like to start off with unemployment. So if you have collected unemployment in 2020, and for those who were able to qualify for the Extra CARE Act, $620, $630 of extra unemployment, at the end of the year, the government will send you a 1099-G. That number is all taxable for federal income tax purposes. So if you're looking ahead and starting to do your year-end planning and you have collected unemployment or will still continue, take into consideration that all that unemployment will be subject to income tax when you file your 2020 return. The bright side of it is that your unemployment compensation is not taxable for California. So when you're calculating your California income, subtract out the unemployment not subject to California income tax, but definitely subject to federal income tax. So as you're looking over your numbers, hey, just don't leave out the unemployment. Use them to help you calculate and get your taxes down.
Hey, Gene, so that extra $600, that's when is that period that the extra $600 is paid in?
I believe it's ending June 30th.
Oh,
I believe. Okay.
Gotcha.
But it'll still count on your tax return.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually ends the paycheck, the final paycheck before June 30th. So for a lot of people, it's even sooner than June 30th.
So it's today.
For a lot of people, it's today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. So it's just that, just don't forget to take it in.
Okay. Gene, we got a question from John about the PPP. So if we listed 2 employees for our PPP grant, but only had 1 paid employee last year, can we now add 1 employee and pay them from the PPP money?
Yeah, I believe.
So great question, John. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are
Yes.
curious about that.
Okay, you can add them. You're going to have to go into the details of the window that the PPP is allowed for. It's spelled out in the regulations. I don't have it off the top of my head, but there are guidelines that will allow you, when you hire employees within a certain timeline, to use your PPP to cover their wages.
And yeah, so John, if you want some additional assistance with that, Gene's phone number is right there. He's a really great guy to chat with. I'm sure Gene would be more than happy to answer questions for you. And John's also asking, can we trust the guidelines that we find on their website for the details? Boy, John, that is a real double-edged sword. Come on, Gene, what do you say about that?
Okay. If you are looking at the actual SBA site and the IRS's site, then what they're telling you is correct as of the time they're putting it up. So I would take for the truth what you're seeing from the government as far as the regulations, the timing, what you can and cannot do. I would be a little suspicious of the explainers at this point in time. I just recently received a question and answer sheet. Actually, it was a workbook from the SBA. It was 62 pages long, filled with questions and answers of about almost anything you can conceive. There was a question and answer for. So if you're willing to sit down and go through 62 pages of questions and answers, then the information is out.
Well, 62 pages, Gene, is a lot of stuff to go through. Now, I know you, and you kind of take that on as your role in life to know what it is and how it impacts everyone in the world. So, hey, you're very welcome, John. Thank you, Gene, for jumping in on that. Again, John, feel free to reach out to Gene. He's more than happy to take a call and help if you've got additional questions. But I know Gene, and Gene does everything he can to stay on top of this. This is his job. And he's not only is he on top of it, but his intention is that you get the support you need so that you don't give your money to the government.
Which is what you don't want to do.
Right. And Gene, John says he's going to give you a call. So
okay, that's great. And my second point just is really addressing the business side of it. Is many businesses, because they're closed or their business has slowed down, has inventory on the floor that they have not been able to turn over. Under the CARE Act and related COVID-19 laws, the government has become generous with you donating your excess inventory or unused inventory to charitable organizations. They have to be 501c3 charities, and there's a variety of tax deductions that are allowed for donating the inventory. It's not a simple process, but nothing is ever simple when it comes to the IRS. But I would like to make the business owners who carry inventory aware that there are tax savings out there that are available to you by donating your inventory to charity.
And Gene, just to check in on that, inventory is a tricky thing for a lot of businesses. And while many of them have great inventory management systems, some don't. There are so many companies out there that have inventory that they're not even aware that they have. And so, one thing I'm just curious about is, is this a good time for someone to do an inventory audit, and actually clean out the stock?
Well, number one, inventory control is the absolute key piece to running a business that sells merchandise. You should always know where your inventory is. Okay, just as a matter of fact, if you have COVID-19 issues or not, okay, the inventory, when you're in that type of business, is a very key piece to your profitability. So now that the IRS has some goodies in store for you, if you have the inventory and donate it correctly, this may be an excellent time to take a peek at that inventory and see what you can do. Because basically, giving the inventory away, number one, will generate cash to the business in the form of lower taxes, because the IRS will give you a deduction for giving the inventory to charity. And if you have more deductions, your income goes down and the tax you pay the government goes down. So it is a method of taking some of that inventory that isn't earning anything at this point and give it to charity, and you may be able to reap the tax benefits from it.
Awesome. Well, perfect. Thank you, Gene. Really appreciate your input today. And just want to check in, Todd, is there anything else you want to add to any of that?
Well, the one thing I'll add in terms of what Gene was pointing, because it is a great idea when you've got these resources sitting there that you will not use in your business. There are, in all of the communities out there, large nonprofits in our communities, and I'm talking the large ones, the United Ways, Lions, Rotary, Kiwanis, a lot of these large that have in-kind networks that can literally help connect your resources to needs in the community or across the globe, so that you not only get the write-off, you don't have to deal with anything other than saying, I have this. They'll come get it. Just like, the Salvation Army truck will pick up your donations from your home. These organizations can pick up the resources from your warehouses and connect them directly to charities. And then all you have to deal with is working with your accountant on the write-off. So it's a great suggestion, Gene.
Awesome. Well, perfect. Todd, I knew you were the right guy to answer that since you're such a charitably focused person. So listen, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. The three of us love getting together every Friday. For us, it's a little bit of social hour where we get to expand our thoughts and minds and talk, things that really have a positive impact on business. John, thank you so much for your thoughtful questions today. I know you're going through something and trying to figure it out. Please, everybody, make sure you talk to your financial team. That would be your financial advisor. That would be your CPA, the people that are involved in helping your business succeed. Make sure to have a conversation with them. Don't go into tax season blind. You have 6 months to finish the year out. Set yourself up for success. And as Gene says, don't give your money to the government. So with that, for me, for Todd, for Gene, I wish everybody a safe and healthy weekend. Have an amazing and enjoyable time this weekend, and stay safe. Take care, everyone.
Take care.